Okay, some of you have been asking me whether I have got any interest in politics. And you have even been quoting to me my area member of parliament, the Honorable Reverend Mutava Musiemi for Gachoka constituency, who is a priest, ordained priest, and in parliament. I don't know exactly what I am to respond to you, but I would like to say that to be a politician is not, it is not wrong. It is not wrong. But for me to be a politician who is a priest, I have to think and listen to the voice of God. If God is calling me to politics, then I will answer the call. But as at now, God is calling me to be a priest. And so, you have been asking me what is my dream and what is my future. My dream is to come back to my country after I finish my master's degree in Christian education. And the reason why I chose to do Christian education is because I have been concerned with the education ministry, both in the government and in the church. And this is about the child. How do we develop the child to become self-reliant and self-sustained in all aspects of life? In this country where I am standing, Korea South, the child has been given the right to choose areas of specialization depending with their interests right from their early stages of formal education. And I think the government of Korea South has highly invested on the education of the child because they know that giving the child the right to choose areas of interest and specialization and training their brains to think in this direction when they are young, it is the best way to develop a society. So, those students and primary pupils who are coming from school, they don't go to tarmac. They do not go to towns and cities to be idle. They create jobs and they create working environment for them. Because the education that they receive in schools prepare them to think practically and to engage themselves with practical activities which they use to create wealth, and this is how they sustain their living. They can be able to start their own industries and their own companies without going to look for jobs and employment in offices. So, when I come back to my country, I would like to engage myself as a priest to conversations with leaders, both in the church and in the government, in the ministry of education and see how we are creating the lives of the children to become. Because I think there is something that we must look into. We need to think about the content. And the content I am talking about is the syllabus and the curriculum in the primary schools and secondary schools. Are we producing the children who can be able to handle life practically? Because when I was in primary school in 1988, between 1988 and 1996, in Ikaraba Primary School, which is in Mbeere South, we were introduced to business studies, business education, home science, agriculture, things like music and art and craft. And I remember some of my colleagues who did not make it to the high schools. They joined the local polytechnics like Wango and St. Teresa Catholic Polytechnic, which is in Karaba. And they were able to advance their primary education knowledge on practical skills, and they were able to start some businesses and some farming, small scale farming, and others started tailoring. And this is how they became people, and this is what give them money. So I think we need to think about it, because later in the years the Ministry of Education scrubbed out these practical courses from the syllabus in the primary education, and I don't think they did any survey or they carried any oral interview across the country with the child, because they needed to consult the child so that they can be able to know whether the children have got any interest vested on these practical courses. I don't know whose interest it was that these courses were scrapped out of the syllabus. But we need to think through, and we need to think critically about the education system, because we are talking about poverty. Is it the will of God for us to remain poor? No, it is not the will of God. We are the people who are creating the cycle of poverty through the education system. And we must agree to review our strategies in education ministry, because I still think that we are not doing the best. So those who are asking me about my dream and my future, my dream and my future is to serve the people in the society where God is going to send me, in Mbeere and in Kenya, so that we can together think and talk the way forward on how to develop our nation.